Jeff, we hot yet? Jeff says we're hot. All right. We have some folks from the Mayor's Youth Council tonight that are going to come up and tell us who they are and what they're going to do for us. And is that microphone on, Ms. Angie? Thump it.
I turned it on.
No.
I was not that.
That's all right. Linda, you mind taking that? See, everybody steps that way. That's how much everybody appreciates y'all.
All right, so I'm Cadence Howell, and I'm part of Mayor's Youth Council, so I'm going to start off and say a prayer for everyone. All right, please bow y'all's heads. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity that you have given us to honor and worship you in this free country. Thank you for letting us gather here. Pray that you'll watch over everyone and watch over what's being said here. Thank you for this board that's and the decisions that are made. Pray all this in your son's name. Amen.
Hello, my name is Asin Johnson, and I am doing the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, lady. Very much appreciate you coming out and doing that for us tonight. Jeff, is everything good? Can you hear all right? All right, again, everyone, as we get back to some normalcy, if you would, if you're going to speak up, please remember to use your microphone, and we will move on through the agendas. At this time, is there any public comment from anyone in the audience that would like to present to the board? Board, you have anything for anyone? Okay. Had a great weekend. I don't have the numbers for you, but had a rather large ball tournament at Quarry Park this weekend. Everything seemed to be in order, and really appreciate everybody. So as the year begins and we begin to wake up, it's going to be an interesting year. I know there's been some shows announced, and there seems to be a lot of excitement for the amphitheater. So as we move on, board, I'm sure Charles will give us an update when we get to Public Works, but downtown is finally beginning to come together a little bit. So now we're up to the streets and got the storm water done, and the water, I think all the tie-ins have been made. We'll let Charles give us an update on that when he gets up there. So Charles, please remember, please. All right. But thank you for the reminder. And if you will note that Miss Monica is not here, appreciate that, Lou. She is, her stepdaughter is graduating from high school, and they are in Texas with her right now. So keep her in your prayers and thoughts as they travel. All right, so we will move on through the agenda. I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of May the 3rd, 2021. Motion by Mr. Lou Coker, second by Mr. James Morris. Any comment or question on those minutes? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Under the mayor, consideration to approve the continuation of a local emergency for an additional 30 days or such time that the governor of Mississippi lifts the state of emergency, whichever comes first. Now, I know there's been a lot of change. Mr. Baker, you might want to speak to this. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Should have asked you before now, but there are reasons why we should choose to remain under that declaration locally and to mirror what the state does. Mr. Baker, you want to give us a short synopsis of why that's important to the city of Brandon?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The reason for the continuation of the local the state emergency is because federal dollars through the CARES Act and others is sent to the state based on that declaration and the continuation of that declaration. And the municipalities of the state, including the city of Brandon, should continue their local declaration in accord with the state declaration, so the dollars will continue to flow down to the municipalities. Okay?
Thank you very much. Just as a sidebar to everyone, we are still in a pandemic. We recently had 2 employees with the city of Brandon that were in personal contact with another person who tested hot for the virus. So it's still floating around out there. Still need to wash our hands and be cognizant of that. But being under emergency declaration allows us to use admin leave appropriately for those employees. So that's, it's just another reason why we need to stay under that emergency declaration. All right. So with that, is there a motion to approve that request? Motion by Ms. Talia Dobbs. Second by Mr. Dwight Middleton. Any further questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Ms. Angela?
May I take all 4 items together?
Yes, ma'am. Slowly, please.
My first item is spread onto the minutes, the primary runoff election results from April 27th. Number 2, consideration to approve an agreement, sorry, I don't know where that. Consideration to approve an agreement with Always Gone Touring, Inc., representing Earth, Wind, and Fire for a performance on October 16th. Authorize the mayor to execute the same and approve all related expenditures. Number 3, consideration to accept quotes received for financing of park equipment and award to Priority One Bank in the amount of $5,452.94 per month for 36 months, and authorize the mayor to execute all related documents. And consideration to approve the docket of claims for May 3, 4, 11, and 18, and the Fox Everett claims from May the 6th.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve those 4 items?
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a
Yeah,
question?
please.
On the, for the park equipment, is we're borrowing the money to pay that, is that not coming out of the 2% fund, and that did not qualify for this?
We leased equipment 3 years ago, and they come and pick it back up. And so this is kind of it's worn out, so we're doing the same thing. We did budget for this, and it's spread over 36 months in this budget.
And
that
His
was
question
my
was,
question.
It's
is it
lease
coming out of the
purchase.
Yes. They're dropping off new equipment and picking up old equipment as part of a lease purchase. But his question was, are we sure this is coming out of the 2%?
I mean, we haven't before. It's been paid out of the general fund, out of the parks budget,
Okay, and this is a lease?
lease purchase.
Lease purchase?
Mm-hmm.
Mean we can buy,
Mm-hmm.
we sell to you at a point in time? Are we?
I mean, I guess if they like it, if they want to.
What we're doing is using it for 3 years, turning it back in, and getting new equipment, starting over again with a lease.
Starting over with a lease?
Right. So we've got quality equipment to run with.
Mayor, I had a question. I remember this being budgeted, but did we budget for whatever the payment is over 12 months, or did we budget for the entire amount to purchase it outright?
No, we budgeted, I checked with Elizabeth, we budgeted over the 36 months.
Okay.
Or we budgeted, 1 year of,
Right, yes.
Okay? Thank you for those questions. Hello, Miss Annie. Hello, Miss Annie. Got to wave at everybody when you walk in the room.
I just want to clarify the record.
Oh, and a curtsy too. All right. Thank you. Expect that every time from here on out. Yes, sir. Mr. Baker
I
has
just want
a.
to clarify one thing. The purchase aspect is different from the leasing purchase aspect because we've already been through the bid process for the equipment itself.
correct, that was done March, I think. when we
Right. You've
approved
got
the
it, I was
purchase.
just, for the Alderman, referenced in the minute book, you've already accepted the bids for the purchase of it. We just went into a financing mode for the lease purchase aspect of it. And at the end of the lease, you can buy it for $1.
So, and the reason we did that, we delayed the financing is because 3 years ago, we didn't get the equipment till later on, if that makes sense. Like, we got the equipment, payment started later. So I waited till we had paid our 36 months.
Okay, so this equipment, like 3 years, you said?
It's ours. It's ours. Now, whether we use it as a trade-in for future equipment or something like
I
that.
guess it would depend on the condition of it.
Yes, yes.
And it normally don't last more than 3 years.
Not this stuff for the most part. For what we're using it for, the field conditioners and stuff like that, no, it's a tough 3-year period of time. But there may be something, in any event, at that point, you'll surplus it and
And
put it back
decide what
into
to
the
do with it.
project or sell it.
Even if it was good enough to last another year for $1,
Right.
$75,000.
Okay. Thank you for those questions. All right. Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to approve those 4 items from the clerk?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Chris Vinson. Second by Mr. Harry Williams. Any further comment? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Angela.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. Mayor, I'll give you a quick update on downtown before we get into the agenda items. All of the water pipe, all the connections are complete, and of course, all the storm drains complete. What we're working on now is hardscape. The real determining factor there is just having good dry weather, and hopefully we've got a stretch of that coming up after this rain that we're getting right now. Dining Street is complete up to Marianne, except for the sidewalks and a little bit of concrete work, and then we'll put the last couple inches of asphalt on it. They are working right now at the intersection of Marianne and Timber to dig that out and rework that. Once that is done, essentially everything south of 80, other than the intersection tie-ins, will be done. At that time, we'll have intersection tie-ins at Timber, Dining Street, North Black, Felicity, and the medians on 80, and wrap that project up. So we just need some good dry weather and get that hardscape going and have it looking good and move on.
To add to that, Board, you've got one more section of street on Dining from Poindexter up to College Street. And Mr. Miller, we have the plans in place, but the Board cannot act on, we can advertise for that, but you can't award that yet. So we're trying to time this where we can get advertisements in so that the new board, when it's seated in July, can act immediately upon that without having to drag. Might have been a pie in the sky dream on my behalf, but I wanted to get it done before it starts school. That's impossible. It cannot happen. But it is possible we could have it completed by the Christmas break, which will help us tremendously with school traffic in downtown. So we're working on that. I believe Benchmark has that pretty much planned out. Is that accurate? Ready to go. Okay, so we'll have things ready for you to act on when the new board is set in July. All right? You want to break this, Mark, at item 5 or 6, just for conversational purposes, since we have 11. We'll break it at 6, and Board, on item, while you've got your agenda in front of you, let's just go ahead and talk about that now. Item 9, Charles, go ahead and talk about item 9 and the wording on that. We've got a
Item 9 is we're requesting permission to publish bid notice for water well. That says testing. It should be water well construction.
Didn't we approve this last board meeting?
Yeah, right below that, the testing, you'll see we're rescinding that and going to construction and installation of. We're going to a meeting tomorrow afternoon to determine the timeline of that funding that's going to pay for that. So what we want to do, just as I was describing about Dining Street, having the plans ready to go, once we receive those funds, federal funds, now we're being told it's going to be split into 2 checks. 50% of it will come in the next 30 to 60 days, perhaps even as early as this week. We just don't know. The second half of it looks like it will come after the first of the year. So that's the $5.5 million that we've been talking about, the American Rescue Plan Act. And our goal is to immediately try to get a water well going. So that's what we did last time, was to do the testing. We all believe that area, which is in the northeast quadrant of the city, it will be a good well site, because it is if you triangle it out between North Street, Langford, and Evergreen, it's dead in the center really of those 3. So we believe it's going to be a good water well site. Right behind that, we'll put a water tank up to begin to get water to the northeast quadrant of the city. And we would like to be prepared to go ahead and advertise for that upon the receipt of those monies, once we have the money, so we don't have to call the board back in for a special call board meeting. So that's, you're still not acting on it, you're still not awarding the bids until we get advertised and go forward. I think Angela's tracked out, it's something like 6 weeks out in time before you'd be able to award that bid. So we're just trying to take care of helping the next board out in those decisions with timely work now. Does that make sense, Harry? Okay.
Did we follow the same process on the other 2 wells, the newest wells, by drilling the test?
The only other new well we have is the one at Lake Bend, and it was immediately beside a shallow well. So when we drilled it, we knew it was going to be in good water, except it went down to 1,200 feet into the aquifer deeper than that. So the only reason we were able to do that. So yes, at that time, a test well is really drilled before the actual well. And if you should, by chance, and it has happened, you hit a dry well, even though it's not dry, it's just not enough volume of water that are satisfied. And Matthew, you correct me if I get off base here. Then we'll go to our second site, which is behind the fire station on Star Brandon Road, and do the same thing there. So either way, we're going to be putting a new water well in the ground. We just believe that's the most prudent action on the
Yes.
path of work to go forward. Didn't mean to preempt that, but I knew that was going to be a discussion point on item 9. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way.
All right.
Okay? Charles?
So you want me to take the first 6?
Yes, please.
Okay. Item 1 is request permission to approve the installation of a 6-inch valve and tap on Poindexter Street from Hemphill Construction utilizing commodity pricing in the estimated amount of $8,790.90 and authorized payment of the same. We have a valve at the top of the hill that's not holding. We need to add a valve there. We also need to upsize a tap in that location that will accommodate the needs of fire suppression for the project right there on the corner. So this will take care of that, and that is what that's for. Item 2 is request permission to publish bid notice for Dining Street improvements contingent upon receipt of capital improvement funds from the 2021 legislative session. Item 3 is consideration to approve Hemphill Construction as the lowest and best quote received in the amount of $22,259 for the storm drain repairs at 524 and 526 Bryn Mawr Street and authorize payment of the same. Item 4 is consideration to approve Hemphill Construction as the lowest and best quote received in the estimated amount of $26,628 for construction labor cost and Southern Pipe and Supplied commodity pricing for the pipe and supplies in the estimated amount of $8,780.50 with regard to the Glen Arbor subdivision storm drain project and authorize payment of the same. Item 5 is consideration to approve Suncoast Infrastructure pay request number 6 in the amount of $67,627.50 and pay request number 7 in the amount of $106,550 with regard to the 2020 Crossgate Sewer Rehabilitation Project and authorize payment of the same. Item 6 is consideration to approve repairs made by WW Solutions and authorize payment of the same for the following. A water repair at Crossgates Drive at Long Branch in the amount of $4,601.60 and a sewer repair at 15 Treeway Drive in the amount of $4,971.71. And WW Solutions is used on some of those when Hemphill cannot get there. We go to a second or third option depending on who's available.
Thank you, Charles. All right, board items 1 through 6. Motion to approve by Mr. Lou Coker.
Second.
Second by Ms. Talia Dobbs. Any comment on any of those items? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, Charles.
Item 7 is request permission to extend the bypass pump rental for an additional 4 months from Hydro Services at a cost of $3,788 per month for the Apple Ridge Lift Station. We are working on that lift station at this time, so we anticipate those pumps being set and operational and that lift station to be refurbished by the middle of June. But this will carry us a little beyond that so that we make sure we've got that bypass covered. Item 8 is rescind board action taken on April 19, 2021 under section 6.6 of the minutes with regard to the approval of test well drilling by Griner Drilling. Item 9 is request permission to publish bid notice for water well construction contingent upon receipt of American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds. Item 10, spread upon to the minutes the acceptance of the following sewer-related projects for the city of Brandon as funded and completed through the West Rankin Utility Authority allocated bond funds. Shiloh Park sanitary sewer improvements in the amount of $171,604.33, and Terrapin Skin Creek sewer improvements in the amount of $123,899.42. Item 11 is request permission to hire the following effective May 18 through August 31, 2021, and set rates of pay pursuant to the memo. Severick Gross as a seasonal labor 1, and Garrison Yoder as a seasonal laborer 1.
Thank you, Charles. Board, is there a motion to approve items 7 through 11? Motion by Mr. James Morris, second by Mr. Chris Vincent. Any questions, thoughts, or comments on those? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Dodd.
Mayor, Board, I have two items, permission to take both together.
Please.
Item 1 is request permission to hire Tyler Oliver as Code Enforcement Inspector effective May 19th, 2021, set rate of pay pursuant to the memo, and approve the job description. Tyler is here tonight, so welcome, Tyler. And then item 2 is consideration to approve the site plan, architectural, and alternative compliance approval for Rankin County Co-op accessory storage building located at 2861 Highway 80 East. I believe this is our first request for alternative compliance, so if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to address that.
All right. Motion by Mr. Harry Williams. Second by Ms. Talia Dobbs. Any questions, Board? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Good evening, Board, Mayor. I have two items. Would you like me to take those together?
Please, sir.
Yes, sir. Item 1, request submission to surplus and sell at auction. 1 2007 Chevrolet Trailblazer bearing VIN number ending in 8538 that is no longer of use to the city, and deposit proceeds into the drug seizure fund. Second item, consideration to approve amendment of the Brandon Police Department General Operating Guideline 2.10 with regard to firearm, handgun, shotgun, patrol officer training and qualification policy. This is just changing the policy from the old legacy 40 caliber system to the new 9mm system.
Is there a motion to approve those two items? Motion by Mr. Chris Vincent, second by Mr. Luke Coker. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Permission to take all two together, sir?
Yes, sir. Let's make sure the board, you've got the second item. Okay. Some
Yes, sir.
error in pay, and we just wanted to correct that.
Yes, sir.
You gonna make comment to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal.
They should already have a copy, I do believe.
Okay.
Thanks to Ms. Angela. All right, number 1, request permission to purchase 2 refurbished LifePak 15s from Master Medical Equipment at the lowest and best quote received in the amount of $30,670 and authorize the payment of the same. Number 2, request permission to correct board action item 11.3B from May 3rd, 2021 regarding Travis Kahn and the adjustment of pay pursuant to the memo.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve those two items? Motion by Mr. Luke Coker. Second by Mr. James Morris. Any further comment or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, Board. Would like to retire and determine the necessity of being in executive session. Motion by Mr. Luke Coker. Second by Mr. Harry Williams. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign, and we will retire back to that room out there. So, audience, you can stay here. officially back live stream, we are back on. All right, get the microphone up close. There was one vote. Here we go.
Mr. Mayor, there was one vote taken in executive session.
Okay, one vote taken in executive session. We need to take care of one item out here, which is to hire Maddox Ellerton as a summer seasonal help at Parks and Rec.
Effective May 24th, and the set rate of pay in accordance with the memo.
All right. Is there a motion motion by Mr. Harry Williams, second by Mr. Lou Coker. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. All right. So we will adjourn until our next scheduled meeting, which is June 7th at 6 p.m. And appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mr. Jeff. Everything clicking for you back there? All right. Thank you very much. And hope to see you then. So, all in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Oh, we off? We offline, Jeff?